Hello everyone, welcome to American Preparatory Academy's Veterans Day program. My name is Carolyn Charette and I'm the Executive Director of American Preparatory Schools. We are gathered today to honor those who have sacrificed to protect our precious liberties. We will be streaming this live every hour from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. today, and we hope you will let all your veteran friends know and give them the link so they can hear our gratitude. First, I'd like to share a little about our school. 18 years ago, a group of parents dreamed of creating a school for our children where they could become not only very smart, but also could become outstanding American citizens. We shared a vision of what a great American school could be, and we set about to create it. Because of our commitment to preparing students to become great Americans, we decided to name our school American Preparatory Academy. We decided we would always sing 2 verses of the national anthem at our school so we can teach our students about the sacrifices being made for their liberty that are expressed in the 4th verse of that song. Our students sing those words every day. Oh, thus be it ever when free men shall stand between their loved homes and the war's desolation. These words are about you, our veterans and soldiers, and what you have given to secure our freedoms. We think it's very important that we all ponder those sacrifices frequently. When we were organizing our school, we also decided that we would commemorate Veterans Day and Memorial Day in a big way, because we understand that if it weren't for our veterans who protect our liberties, we would not be able to celebrate all the other holidays that we love to celebrate. Now, since we opened that first campus 17 years ago, we have opened 5 more schools, and we now have over 5,000 students attending American Preparatory Academy. American Prep serves families from many countries and backgrounds, many different faith traditions, many different cultural traditions. Our families are very diverse, and their children come to school each day and work side by side with each other in peace and in friendship, in the true American spirit. Veterans Day gives us the opportunity to thank you, for without you, we would not have the liberty to enjoy that peace and friendship. We are indebted to our veterans and soldiers, those who served in years past and those currently serving. You who have been willing to put your lives on the line to keep our founders' vision of a diverse and free America alive. It is our hope that our students can fully realize and will never forget that their liberty began with great visionary men and women who established our exceptional Constitution, and that their liberty is maintained by heroes like all of you. So thank you so much for joining us today. Our students have been learning about you and thinking about you for the past weeks and months as they have prepared for this day. They have made cards for you, handwritten cards, and we have a special pin for each veteran or soldier who would like one. It says, Honored Veteran 2020 American Preparatory Academy. Those of you who have participated with us in the past know that we've been giving these pins out every year, and even though we're unable to meet in person this year, we still wanted to make sure that these pins are available to all of you. So if you would like to get a card and a pin, please contact Marion Minson at mminson@apamail.org, or call any of our school campuses and ask for a Veterans Day card and pin. We can arrange for you to come pick it up, or we can mail it to your home. We would love to be able to distribute all of our cards and pins to our veterans this year, even though we can't be with you to give it to you in person. Even though we cannot be with you physically this year, we hope that you still equally can feel all of our love and gratitude as we present our songs, poems, and speeches. We will begin with our pledge and national anthem, and the words to the 2nd verse will appear on your screen. We will then proceed through the program with presentations, songs, and talks by our student essay winners and a staff member veteran. We really hope you enjoy the program.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As an American, it is my duty
to remember and uphold the ideals of our country: liberty, equality, democracy, respect for the rule of law, and patriotism, which means gratitude and respect.
As an American, it is my duty
to remember that we have these ideals due to the heroes who lived and died for them, and heroes today who still defend these ideals with their lives.
As an American, it is my duty
to treat all others with dignity and respect.
As an American, it is my duty
to be willing to listen courteously and with an open mind to others who hold different positions than mine, because increased understanding strengthens our democracy.
As an American, it is my duty
to remember the patriots who sacrificed to establish these ideals amidst great opposition.
As an American, it is my duty
to respect servicemen and women and public servants who uphold these ideals today.
We support these ideals in word and action, and express our patriotism so that our free nation might be preserved for our children and grandchildren.
What is patriotism? It seems to fill American culture. We celebrate it on the 4th of July. We use it to praise the patriots of the Revolutionary War, the War on Terror, and every war in between. We ascribe it to political leaders, both past and present. We express it through the Pledge of Allegiance, through our flag, and even through songs. But what is it? Patriotism is belief in our nation. It is a willingness to sacrifice for and contribute to something greater than ourselves. It is respect for the system and ideals of our nation that have accomplished so much good. It is a responsibility to perfect our government, to remove its flaws, and to preserve that which is good. And it is a desire to give the freedom, rights, and life that we enjoy to future generations. When you consider these acts of the patriot, you will inevitably find that veterans are the embodiment of patriotism. Every single veteran has made great sacrifices for our country. Many suffer grievous injuries and even death in service to our country. Many are away from their families for long periods of time and miss major family events. My grandfather was unable to attend my dad's birth due to military service. Our veterans are definitely willing to sacrifice. Respect for our country is another attribute common to veterans. I have never met a veteran, be it a family member, neighbor, or even teacher, who didn't have great respect for and show great respect to our country and its flag. Our veterans bear the responsibility of preserving our country every day. Throughout history, they have protected our country in every major war we have fought. Even after military service, many served the communities and countries in other ways. Of our 44 presidents, 26 of them have served in the military, which should be no surprise when you consider the seriousness with which veterans fulfill their responsibilities as a United States citizen. As for the desire to give our freedoms and rights to future generations, this has been seen in almost every war in American history. This is the motivation that encouraged veterans to fight for our freedoms in the Revolutionary War, to protect us in the War of 1812, to fight to end slavery in the Civil War, to fight to preserve our country and Europe's countries in World War II, to fight for democracy in Korea and Vietnam, and to fight for our security in the War on Terror. Veterans are the greatest examples we have of patriotism, of people willing to sacrifice for something greater than themselves. It is for these acts and attitudes of patriotism, as well as many others, that we honor our veterans, because they inspire us to be better, to live more patriotically. We may not sacrifice or serve in the same way, but it is possible for all of us to embrace the patriotic spirit of America and sacrifice for a nation that, together, is greater than we are alone. Our veterans have shown us the way, and for that we will forever be grateful, and will give them the honor that they so rightly deserve.
the importance of sacrifice and duty as an American citizen. It is through sacrifice and duty that we can play our role as American citizens, no matter who you are. These two values of sacrifice and duty are the pillars of American society and are a responsibility that we all carry as citizens of this country. Sacrifice is characterized by giving up something important to you to help others in need, and duty is the moral and legal obligations one has, whether to themselves, family, or country. When people sacrifice something of value to themselves and use it to better our country, it betters ourselves as Americans, as this sacrifice is how people volunteer and help each other. We all perform our duty to this country as American citizens by participating in our country's affairs and contributing to our society. One of the greatest examples of these two American pillars is veterans. Together, we can all work to achieve these values and better ourselves as Americans, creating a better country for all, regardless of how you label yourself. Oliver Napoleon Hill, an American author, stated, quote, "Great achievement is usually born of great sacrifice and is never the result of selfishness." Sacrifice is one pillar of American values, and people participate in sacrifice in their everyday lives. People sacrifice their time and money to help other Americans, like when we volunteer. Volunteers give up their time to go and help those in need, whether it is working at your local food bank, providing proper jackets for the winter, and even taking the opportunity to help a neighbor with yard work. When we all sacrifice time, money, and anything of value to help each other, you gain something even greater, a community. American society is based on a sense of community in which we make sacrifices for each other, all to help others onto their feet and be good people. Sacrifice does not come from a selfish place, but rather from your heart, and no matter what you sacrifice, it can never match the value of helping others. With sacrifice, we can achieve a better country and a sense of self, which is why it is such an important American value. Another pillar of American value is duty. As Thomas Jefferson described it, only aim to do your duty, and mankind will give you credit where you fail. We as Americans have our duty to serve our country. This duty can manifest in our duty to vote, our duty to contribute to the success of society, and our duty to be a decent citizen. It is important to practice the value of duty, as we all have our moral obligations, and we can help create a democracy. One example of duty is to be educated in politics to make an educated vote. The democracy is built on the principle of voting representatives into office. So by completing our duty of educating ourselves on our country's politics and casting a vote, we uphold a democracy that America is built upon. As long as we carry out our duties as citizens to the United States, democracy will be upheld along with the American culture. Sacrifice and duty are important to uphold American ideals, and these values can be seen in many veterans. Veterans serve our country and are some of the greatest examples of the importance of sacrifice and duty. They give their service to this country, sacrificing their time and in some cases their lives to help completely dedicate themselves to the duty to protect and serve our country. They embody the principle of sacrifice. They sacrifice watching their kids grow, seeing their friends and family, and living a more normal life. However, they do this because they hold patriotism in their hearts. They have a duty to their country and work to protect freedom. Veterans do not serve their country by fighting in just wars, but also by operating machinery, serving as medics, and keeping peace in places affected by war. With all the sacrifices they make and how hard they work to perform their duties, veterans are prime examples of patriotic citizens and uphold the meaning of democracy. In conclusion, we can see how the pillars of sacrifice and duty exemplify American ideals. Every day we embody these values, helping each other because in the end we stand as a united nation. We can see these values in veterans and see how the ideals of democracy are being upheld. Veterans Day is a day to appreciate those who have made the most sacrifices and performed the greatest duty by serving their country. By commemorating and looking up to veterans, we can take example from them and uphold our values of sacrifice and duty to create a better country and be the best American citizens we can be.
Liberty of the United States.
I am grateful for the opportunity to speak today. Today means so much to so many who have worn the uniform of the United States Armed Services. I am grateful for the opportunity I have had to serve this nation. My love of country and flag was instilled in me when I was a small child and has flourished through the years. I was taught that this country, the United States of America, was truly a land of opportunity, a shining city on a hill for all to see. When I enlisted in the Army, I remember the youthful enthusiasm that I had. I was going to be a United States soldier. It was a culmination of a desire that I had had since I was a small child. I remember standing before the flag in the MEP Center at Fresno, California, and raising my hand and taking the oath of enlistment. The words echo through the years. I, Alvaro Garcia Ramirez III, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. I remember thinking to myself that I had never read the Constitution, and therefore how could I support and or defend it? Since that day, I have read and studied that document numerous times. I've always had a copy of the Constitution with me, and I now carry it on my phone. That document means something to me. It was a reason why I served, in order to preserve the rights and liberties which it protects. That oath of my allegiance to the ideals known as constitutional principles were the driving force behind my service and my continued service to this nation to this day. As a soldier, I learned many important things that I've used throughout my life. Of course, you have those typical things of discipline, organization, and presentation that are inculcated in all soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guard men. The most important lessons, though, were those of trust, unity, and teamwork. I knew that I could trust the training that I was receiving and those who were training with me to keep me alive and to get me through tough situations. I knew that I could trust my brothers in arms with my life. We trained to work as one and to move as one, though made up of many. I knew that if I felt the hand of my brother on my shoulder, that it meant that he had my six, and I could move forward without fear or hesitation. We are at a crossroads in America today. There are forces trying to undermine the unity and order established by the Constitution. The American people are being duped into accepting chaos and disarray as an acceptable alternative to long-held and revered constitutional principles in an attempt to redefine and alter the state of affairs within this country. We must stand fast and not cede another inch to the enticements presented to encourage this rapid cessation of our freedoms protected by the Constitution of the United States. If we stand united and put aside racial and cultural differences and embrace the universal principle of freedom, we can and will save this union. We must amalgamate as a people to ensure the preservation of true and enduring freedom. I stand here today and call upon all Americans, whether citizen or not, to unite in common purpose to embrace constitutional principles, principles of freedom, principles of unity, principles of justice. May the generation going before us and those coming after us feel that generational hand upon their shoulder, reassuring them that we have their six, that they can count on us to advance the cause of freedom, that we may be ever a nation united. Hua.
run. You make a soldier of a man who never bore a gun. What is it through the battle smoke the valiant soldier sees? The little garden far away, the budding apple trees. The little patch of ground back there, the children at their play. Perhaps a tiny mound behind the simple church of gray. The golden thread of courage isn't linked to castle dome, but to the spot where'er it be, the humblest spot called home. And now the lilacs bud again, and all is lovely there. And homesick soldiers far away, no spring is in the air. The tulips come to bloom again, the grass once more is green, and every man can see the spot where all his joys have been. He sees his children smile at him, he hears the bugle call, and only death can stop him now, he's fighting for the law.
To
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, soldiers.
Thanks for all you do.
Thank you so much to those of you that have served our country and continue to serve our country. We so appreciate you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm grateful to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you, soldiers.
Thank you for your sacrifices.
Thank you for protecting my freedoms. I'm grateful to you and all that you've given.
Thank you for everything you've done for our country.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
From one veteran to another one, thank you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, men and women.
Thank you so much for my freedom.
Thank you for your service. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you. We appreciate your service.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time and diligence.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for my peace of mind. You've given so much, we can't ever thank you enough.
Thank you for your dedication and service.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
Thank you for doing what I can't. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your service.
Thank you for all you do. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
We hope you have enjoyed our program. Now, I want to speak for just a minute to our students who are also watching this live stream today in their classes. So, in effect, we are all together today. Our guests, our students, our staff members, and hopefully a lot of our families are watching our Veterans Day program today. So I'd like to speak to our students for just a moment. Students, today we have learned that our veterans gave. And I'd like to talk to you for just a minute about that giving. What did they give? They gave their personal time, their time with their families. They gave up opportunities to be with their friends, opportunities to pursue their personal dreams, sometimes even their education or their careers, at least for a period of time. They gave their time, their energy, their talents, their skills, and they were willing to give their very lives. Yes, they were willing to give everything. And by giving up their personal freedom, they won and they continue to win our freedom. So students, in honor of our veterans, I would ask you, what will you give? Will you give some of your time to pause and think about the sacrifices made for your liberty? Will you give honor and respect for our nation's veterans? Will you give yourself in service to your community, to your friends, to your classmates, and to your teachers, and to your families? Will you give of your time to study hard so you'll be prepared to lead in your profession? Will you give kindness? Will you give goodwill, energy, and effort to change the world for the better? Our veterans have surely shown us a great example of unselfish giving. I hope we will all follow their examples and become more willing to give. All right, to our guests, thank you again for joining us today. We will leave you with one last expression of our gratitude, a favorite song of ours entitled, "Thank You, Soldiers." We enjoyed preparing this for you, and we hope you can feel our love as we sing it for you.